Hey, this is Jennifer Miller Hamill, your host for POPeracast, your source for everything going on behind the curtain here at Pacific Opera Project. And we have a wonderful conversation in store for you today, a very different kind of conversation, as we'll be learning some incredible news in real time together. Yes, indeed. Today, I have the incredible opportunity to talk to Pop's own artistic director, Josh Shaw, concerning his plans for the upcoming 15th anniversary season of Pacific Opera Project. Now, we are taping this conversation on March 10th, and those plans have not been publicly revealed as of yet. Now, I do believe this conversation will drop after it comes out, but if you're not there for the Pop Gala, you won't get to hear these plans in real time. So let's have some excitement and fun. So anyway, I mentioned because I already recorded my opening for this, that you and I are going to be talking today about the plans for the 15th anniversary season.
Yes.
Because I actually don't know those details. This is going to be probably the most non-prepared I've been for an interview. The POPeracast audience is going to be getting sort of my unfiltered reactions to the things that you're going to be telling me. So, because I will say the only thing I do know, at least as of when we last spoke, was the venue for the first performance of the season, unless that has changed, because I know the show has changed.
Yes, everything's changed. So.
All right. So then I'll forget anything I know. So we are opening in September. Is that correct? Or am I wrong?
Right. Yeah, September 5th is our first performance of the year.
All right. So what are we starting with to kick off our 15th anniversary season?
So next year's big. We're really excited. It took forever to get this lined up. And actually, we're still putting pieces of it together, but we're 99.9% sure it's all there. So we start the year with one that I've been holding out on for years, kind of the one everybody does, Pagliacci. And we're going to do that at Heritage Square. So very, site specific. It's like a town, and the troupe rolls in, and we'll have I think we're going to do like 1930s or something like that. So the hope is that people really feel like they're, at the show in the second half, and the chorus is there with them, and very, experiential. And I haven't decided if we're going to do table seating or like bleacher seating or what yet. But, Pagliacci is one of the best operas ever written, and we haven't done it in 14 seasons. So really looking forward to that.
And so Pagliacci is usually paired with Cavalleria Rusticana. So are you doing that same pairing or no?
No pairing. We're going to do it alone. It'll be a short night. We'll probably take an intermission as well. I've done it standalone a couple times. It's fine, especially for today's audience. It's enough.
Can you spill any casting details yet, or are you still?
I don't have any for that one. So no.
All right. So kicking off the season with a new to Pop production. I'm actually going to type it here in the chat so that way I have the details when we go back to review afterwards. Okay. So Pagliacci, September 5th, right? Opening?
The 14th.
All right. All right. Cool. At Heritage Square. So that's going to be awesome. All right. So what's up next after Pagliacci?
Well, the next one is our kind of like nobody knows opera that we've been doing every year. And I can't even tell you, I had resolved to do a different show 3 weeks ago now, another revival. And I cannot for the life of me remember how I came upon this opera. But, I read something and that took me on Facebook probably, and that took me somewhere else, and that took me somewhere else. And this opera is called Fra Diavolo, like the pasta.
Yeah.
And it's by Aubert, so it's a French operetta. Sounds very much like a lot like Gilbert and Sullivan, and a lot like Offenbach. And it was very popular in its day, very, very popular. And it's a light comedy. Fra Diavolo was a real person. He was a bandit, and for a couple of 1800 to 1806 or something like that in rural Italy. And he was kind of like a Robin Hood figure.
Okay.
And the opera, it's not even really about him. He's a main character, but it's silly. It's a British couples on vacation, and they get robbed by Fra Diavolo, and then they somehow get their jewels back, but he shows up in disguise and seduces the wife just to get the jewels again, and it's just silly. And we'll do it in English, and it'll be at the Ebel, Highland Park Ebel. That's November 7th through 16th. I think that's the right day. So it sounds awfully early, but I think that's right. Yeah.
And we'll publish corrections. Of course, we're taping this on March 10th, and we'll be officially announcing the season to one and all. Those who attend POPeracast on Monday, April 7th. Okay, so Fra Diavolo by Aubert in November. And then, so what's up after that?
So after that, we did want to do something to really celebrate our 15th year and do a revival. And it's our time to be at Occidental College again with their Glee Club. So I started thinking of what show we could do that really works with that, which, if you know what that means, that we need a show with chorus, but not too much chorus because they're in school and we work around their schedule. So, and you might have guessed by our propaganda artist that we're bringing back the Star Trek inspired abduction from the Seraglio. Yes. One more time. This will be the third time we've done it. It is the most fun thing we do. People love it. Brian Cheney is coming back to do that again, and Rob Norman's also committed to it already. So it'll be like old times, but bigger. And we're going to do 3 performances at Occidental College in February 6th, 7th, and 8th. Mm-hmm. And, Klingons and Vulcans and Orion Slave Girl and all of those things. It's really about as much fun as you can have at the opera.
So here's the question, because of course there is Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which is out now, which is sort of giving you an updated take on the original series. Are you going to stick with the aesthetic of the 1960s series? You're going to move things forward to Strange New Worlds? Okay.
It's original series all the way, other than a few random jokes here and there about the next generation or something. No, we're going to stick with what works. I'm sure we'll add a few things, but I mean, the original series hasn't changed at all since, 5-10 years ago, whenever we did this. So we'll try to recreate the magic. We do revivals at Pop, kind of often. And it's always I won't do it. It's one reason I didn't end up going with some of the other revivals. I never do a revival if I don't think we can somehow make it better, or at least match the magic that we had the time before. And I think there's still plenty of fun to be had in this. And, I think it was 2016 when we did this at the Ford. That's a long time ago. A lot of people had never even heard of us, so there's a whole group of pop fans who haven't been to that show yet. So this is for them, and this is for those people who just love it, and there are many, many of those. And honestly, it's for me and Brian and Robert and the gang to get back together and have one more hoorah.
I think this is probably like the 2 most asked about shows when I let someone know that I'm on the board. Of course, they ask about Superflute, and this, of course, being Mario Day, it's probably good for us to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
It's March 10th. But yeah, and then, hey, do you know when they're doing that Mozart opera again? And I was like, well, now I know, but I can't say.
And you're like one of the only people that know. We've kept it a very tight lid on what we're doing next year for the big anniversary and all that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Very excited. So there you go, guys. You got my unfiltered first reaction to that. All right. So Abduction from the Seraglio, done a la Star Trek, coming to Oxy, 3 performances, February 6th through 8th in partnership with Occidental Glee Club.
throbbing heart, in my beating throbbing heart.
Fun as always. All right, so that's in February, and I know at least for the current season, we had quite a break in between our January production, and of course, we've got Pinafore coming up in June. Is there going to be another big break at this point? Or
No, actually, I'm looking at the dates, and there are no breaks. We're back March 14th through 22nd at the Aratani again in Little Tokyo. We're not doing Butterfly again. And this was the slot that took the longest to figure out what we were going to do after we had some other plans fall through very last minute. And what we finally decided was we're going to do a big production of Turandot. Yeah. You know, that's a nod to our mascot, Hipster Puccini. You know, we needed something Puccini in the 15th season. We've done the other big ones. I did a production. I'm in Florida right now, and I did a production of Turandot here last year.
Mhm.
And going into it, I just wasn't all that excited about it. But by the time I got done with it, I understood why people love that opera so much. And so when we were fishing around for titles, I really put it on the back burner for Pop. It's just not what we typically do. It's big. It's, you know, serious. But I think it's going to be the right fit. And so my concept is kind of it's fairy tale, and it's like we jokingly call it like Frozen, because it's like she's kind of like an ice queen, and all of her land reflects that. So there's snow and ice everywhere, and of course the big payoff is at the very end when he melts her heart and everything comes to life and is bright and happy. So very excited about that. Also, that production's very much chosen with a couple in mind. My good friend Clay Hilly and Sarah Duchovny are going to come back and sing Kalof and Liu in that. And that's just amazing. I mean, they didn't exactly meet at Pop, but they basically met at Pop. And then they've been married now for years and live in Germany and are singing over there. And this was the gap in Clay's schedule next year. So I made him promise he will not take a job at the Met or something, which could very well happen. He's singing all over the world and won the Richard Tucker last year, and just a voice that has to be heard, you know. But he was with it. He was our first Rodolfo, you know, way back in 2012, and Turn of the Screw in 2014, and Cayuse in Falstaff. You know, just great guy, willing to come, just wants to work and wants to have a good time. So very excited to hear those two singing the Artani, which is a great space for it. It's 800 seats. We're going to do 4 performances. We'll have a big work by Pop standards anyway. So I'm really have gotten very excited about that production.
And it's such a tour de force for The Soprano as well, for Turandot.
We got to pick one of those.
Yeah. So in terms of Sarah, because Sarah will be singing Liu, when was the last time we heard Sarah at Pop?
I think maybe Ariadne, possibly. Fucked up since then, singing heavier stuff. So I think that was the last time she was here.
Very, very excited. Turandot. I was like, what is
Turandot? A lot of tickets to sell for that one.
All right, so that's in March 14th at the Aratani, our friends over there in Little Tokyo. Such a fun spot to go to, such a great part of town. Incredible places to eat and shop and just have fun before you go to the show.
Yep. So our last show of the season is at the San Gabriel Mission Playhouse over in San Gabriel, not that far, right up to 210. If you haven't been there, it is gorgeous, like a mission style playhouse with 1,400 seats, I believe, something like that. Very large, and just such a cute little area it's in there with shops and restaurants and everything. But the reason we're going there is, one, to try a new great venue. Two, is the theme of the show, which is Zorro. We will be doing the LA premiere of Zorro next year. So, which is very cool because the composer is from LA, so he's very excited about it. It's got, I grew up watching Zorro at Nick at Night and, playing with sticks in the yard when I was 4 years old. So super cool for me. And it's got sword fighting and love and the bad guy and, of course, Zorro. So really excited about that. I just think it's going to be so much fun. Since this will be after Papa. No, I can't tell you. It's a surprise. You need to be surprised too. But it's going to be a blast and a great way to end the season. And it's part of our strategic goal to offer more seats. So over 2 nights, we offer 2,600 seats for that. So we're really strategically, purposefully having more seats available for most of these productions, all of them except Fra Diavolo. But we're doing 7 performances of that instead of 6.
Right.
So really pushing to get more new people is always the goal, but just more people in general to pop shows. And I think with this lineup, certainly with, the outdoor one and then Star Trek and Turn, I mean, they're all lined up to get new people in the door. So super, super excited.
Now, Zorro, this is a production that has been done at Opera Santa Barbara last season.
Yes.
If I remember correctly. And it was a production that sold out.
Yep.
It was one of their fastest selling shows. I think San Diego is doing it this season.
San Jose is doing it.
Okay.
And I think Arizona's doing it soon. It premiered at Opera Southwest in Albuquerque. Yeah. So, yeah. I know Hector's very excited about doing it in his hometown.
Mm-hmm. And is it remind the audience, is it English or Spanish?
It's mostly in English, but some Spanish also. Okay. It's kind of goes back and forth.
Yeah. Be one of the first in Los Angeles. If you didn't make the drive up to Santa Barbara or will be making the drive up to San Jose, you will have this in your hometown in about a year and 2 months.
Yeah. Long way away.
Now, of course, with everything else that's going on at Pop, we always like to have special little events popping in, pun intended, during the season. Of course, we had things like this year, like the Messider sing-along. Of course, we have Popaganza every year. Are there any sort of special little one-off treats that might be popping up for the 15th anniversary season that we can tease?
I'm sure there will be, but I don't know what they are yet. Those we kind of wait and see when we have a great opportunity for those. We have been talking about hopefully a kickoff party, just a party, not a fundraiser or anything like that, just a party. Let's have a good time, celebrate 14 years and get this season rolling. We'll see if we can squeeze that in with 5 shows in the season. That puts us back to mid-August starting rehearsals. So it might have to be after Pagliacci,
Okay.
But we'll see. We'll do that, and I'm sure we'll do some December event. I don't know what yet, but we do have coming up for. I don't think we've announced it yet, but coming up for Pinafore, we're going to have another Highland Park drunken sailor pub crawl. So we'll be announcing that. If we haven't already, by the time this comes out, we'll be announcing that soon. And it's super casual. We just start at Pop HQ and hit a couple bars, sing a couple songs, and come back and have a good time.
What will you do with all the drunken sailors? Find out when we announce that. Yeah. And then, of course, Josh, as you mentioned, we do have one more big production coming up this season, and I'd love for you to plug Pinafore and any other special things that we might have surrounding that, like maybe a pre-concert lecture.
Oh, that's right. We do have a pre-concert lecture with someone you all know. Yeah, Jennifer's going to do that. What day did we decide that was
I
going to
think
be?
it was the second Friday,
So that is the
20th, I think. Sounds right.
uh,
Hold on.
no.
I'm going to bring up the calendar on my computer here. I'm going to cheat.
Oh, maybe it is.
The
It is
20th.
the 20th. Yeah. So we will have a cool lecture on the 20th, Friday the 20th before the show. But every night you can come early and look at the houses, outside of the houses, and have a picnic. I'll just explain everybody again. The tables come with one bottle of wine. We cannot sell you any more than that. So you are welcome to bring all the wine and beer you want, and soft drinks, and food, and your own for food as well. And you can come early and enjoy the grounds, and then see the show and eat through the show, and it's going to be a great time. It's going to be so much fun. Most of the crew from Pirates is coming back, and that was such a great, fun show. And we're going to try to recreate that magic with a little bit different music. Not that different.
Not that different. It's all kind of the same. And I'll pick it up there. HMS Pinafore, opening in June. Tickets are available at pacificoperaproject.com. That one is you can actually go buy tickets for, unlike the gala, which will be over at this point. So anyway, well, Josh, as you mentioned, you are on the East Coast right now in the midst of a production of Rusalka. So thank you for grabbing like a half an hour to talk to me today in the midst of everything, and really appreciate it. And lots of exciting things coming for the 15th anniversary season. All right, well, get back to it. I'm going to hit stop on my recorder and see you soon.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right, so you've heard the news, the big season, the big 15th anniversary season for Pacific Opera Project kicking off this fall at Heritage Square, where we're actually closing our current season with HMS Pinafore. So Pagliacci, The Abduction from the Seraglio, Fra Diavolo by Aubert, Turandot, and then, of course, wrapping things up with Zorro, with the LA premiere of Zorro. Just an incredible selection of shows coming up for the 15th anniversary season. And of course, we'll have more details on how you can pick up season tickets, perhaps, at pacificoperaproject.com. And I will give one more plug for HMS Pinafore, which opens in June. Again, I'm going to take a peek at my calendar here just so I can get that date correct. But June 13th, right, at Heritage Square, Gilbert and Sullivan's HMS Pinafore, featuring most of the crew from Pirates of Penzance from a couple of seasons ago. Get those tickets right now at pacificoperaproject.com. And, if you haven't picked a day, come out on June 20th. I'll be giving a pre-opera lecture that evening. Well, I'm Jennifer Miller Hamill. Again, my big thanks to Josh Shaw for revealing all the tea, spilling the tea. Yes, spilling the tea with me on the 15th anniversary season for Pacific Opera Project. And of course, thank you so much for your patronage of POPeracast. If you're not yet subscribed, feel free to do that. You can find us where all podcasts can normally be found. There are too many to list. Anyway, I'm going to head out of here and perhaps go sing some music of my own, but I will see you this coming June at HMS Pinafore. Take care. Of course, we're taping this on March 10th, and we'll be officially announcing the season to one and all. Those who attend Papaganza on Monday, April 7th.
That's right.
Yes. So if you are attending Papaganza, you will actually be the first to get this information. And if you've not yet gotten your tickets, I'm going to make another plug here. Head over to pacificoperaproject.com. It is going to be the big, incredible party of the season, and that is at the Wilshire Ebel, right?
Wilshire Ebel.
Yes, Wilshire Ebel. And I will be there too. So you can
I think they will have already been there.
Oh, that's right. That's true. This is in the past. Rob, cut this. I don't even know what day. I don't know what's happening, but yes, those lucky folks who were there. Hope you had a great time. It was great to see you if you were there. Okay, never mind. All right. Okay, so Fra Diavolo by Aubert in November.